how old is Rufus? That is the question. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Thank you very much for joining me again for another hamster video. Today I wanted to introduce you to Rufus, who is my male Roborovski hamster. He has this enclosure here behind me, and I will give you a full tour of what his current setup looks like. Rufus is about 9 months old, and I have had him since November. It was sort of towards the end of November, so about 3 months now that I've had him. And he's so sweet. I mean, he's a classic Roborovski in that he doesn't really like that much human interaction. I've actually not had that many Roborovskis in my time. I will do a full video talking about how many hamsters I have had, including my current 4. It's 37 throughout my life, so quite a few. I've only had 4 Roborovskis, including Rufus. I had 1 as a child, and then as an adult I've had 2 males and 1 female. My female Roborovski Zoom, who I very sadly lost last month, about 6 weeks ago now, she was the friendliest Roborovski I've ever had. She didn't really like me handling her, but she would take treats from me. She would always come up and see me. Whenever I'd come into my hamster room, she'd pop out. Whatever time of day it was, she'd come out and say hi. She was very sociable from that point of view. Rufus is a bit more elusive, shall we say, so he likes to keep himself to himself. He doesn't really like that much human interaction, but he's having a great time. Rufus is really quite different from my other Roborovskis in terms of his food preferences. My other Roborovskis used to go crazy for mealworms. Zoom, who I mentioned before, my female Roborovski, she would just snatch a mealworm out of my hand and just nom 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 straight away. Absolutely loved them. And Rufus doesn't really like mealworms. He also isn't a huge fan of Whimsy chews. He has one in his cage. I give Whimsy chews to all of my hamsters. If anybody is new to sort of hamster ownership and different chew toys, to briefly talk about Whimsy chews, they're fantastic. They're actually sold for dogs. They're a kind of chew that helps clean dogs' teeth. They're a dental dog chew, and they're made from vegetable and potato starch. They come in a range of different sizes and shapes. There's like toothbrush Whimsies, alligator Whimsies, little hedgehog Whimsies, and you can get them individually from pet shops, or, I mean, I've got 4 hamsters and 2 dogs. I bulk buy them. I bulk buy them online. I get a box of about 56, and I personally use the small sized ones, which are perfect for hamsters. There are extra small as well, which I've had in the past, also great, and a Whimsy chew tends to last about 2 weeks. With most of my hamsters, Rufus has had his, I can't remember if he's on the 1st or the 2nd Whimsy chew, but that's in 3 months. He's just not a fan of them. He does nibble a Whimsy chew from time to time, but my other hamsters, you give them a Whimsy chew and they just absolutely adore them. Rufus isn't that bothered by them. He doesn't like chicken either, which my other hamsters love. You can give chicken, it needs to be plain cooked, so not like with salt and oil and all that kind of stuff added. You can give fresh chicken if you want. You can also give freeze-dried chicken, so I tend to do both. More often I'll give them freeze-dried chicken because then they can put it in their hoard and I don't worry about it going mouldy in a corner of their cage. But Rufus is not bothered at all by freeze-dried chicken. The first time I gave him a piece, it was still there the next day, which is just unheard of for my hamsters. He's a really fussy eater, actually. He obviously does eat, but I do find it funny that the things that are usually so popular with all my other hamsters, he is just not bothered about. And his colouring is really beautiful. Somebody actually said to me, actually it's more than one person, a couple of people have commented on my Instagram when I've shared pictures of him, saying that he almost looks like a little hedgehog, which I think is adorable, but actually with his markings, with the white markings, with the brown right down the centre of his back, he does kind of look like a little hedgehog. So I mentioned that I've had Rufus since November. I saw an advert online, I think it was on Pets for Homes, for him. His previous owner was no longer able to keep him. I went and I picked him up, and he's been really, really happy ever since. He's been in the Detol the whole time that I've had him. I really like the Detol for dwarf species of hamster. I'm not a huge fan of it for Syrian hamsters. Donut, who is one of my male Syrian hamsters, does currently live in obviously a separate Detol. None of my hamsters live in the same cages. And he seems happy in there so far, but I do want to build a DIY cage for him. The height of it and the width of it, for me personally, are what make the Detol not the best cage for a Syrian hamster. If you've got a Syrian hamster and they're happy in the Detol, fantastic. It's a good cage in terms of its floor space, absolutely. I just personally find it a bit limiting for Syrian hamsters, but dwarf hamsters, I think it's fantastic. I realise that I keep talking about the Ikea Detol just as a hamster cage, but there might be people watching this who have no idea what the Ikea Detol is or what I'm talking about and thinking, since when does Ikea sell hamster cages? Well, the Ikea Detol is actually sold as a storage cabinet. So the ends, the white ends, would actually stand up on its side. They make fantastic hamster cages, really great. I bought my Detolfs 3 years ago now, and they're great. Surprisingly long lasting. I wouldn't have expected them to be in such a good condition now, considering they've had constant use for 3 years. I've got 2 in use, but I actually have 5 Ikea Detolfs in total. I'll do a video sometime about all the hamster cages I've ever had and sort of review them if you want. But the Ikea Detol is a great size. It's probably one of the cheapest ways of having a big hamster cage. The floor space is about 950 square inches. Considering the UK minimum is 620 square inches, that's fantastic. The only bit of DIY that it definitely requires is a lid. No matter what species of hamster you're housing in your Ikea Detol, you should have a lid for it. A Syrian hamster will just climb themselves out of it. Done. Within 2 seconds. Climb, gone, bye. A dwarf hamster, they can jump. It also means if you don't have a lid that you have to keep things close to the base of the cage, whereas actually what you want to do is have about 8 inches of bedding, at least in a decent area of the cage. So having a lid allows you to do that without your hamster then escaping the enclosure. So yeah, the Ikea Detol is fantastic. It's quite budget friendly as well, provided you don't have to get Ikea delivery. The Detolfs themselves, when I bought mine, they were £50 each. I think that the RRP is £60 in the UK. I will check that. The delivery for Ikea I think is about £39. So if the Detolf is all you're buying, that pushes the price way up. If you can go to a physical shop, fantastic. Probably can't at the moment with lockdown. Actually also, if you are wanting to make a Detolf cage for one of your hamsters or for a future hamster, if you have a look on second-hand selling sites, you can often get them cheap for about £15, maybe £20, which is fantastic. So I'm going to show you now his current setup. So here is Rufus's enclosure. I'll give you a little tour of what I have in here. I'll start at this side here where I've got his sand bath. Roborovskis require quite a large sand area in their cage. Around a third of the cage should be sand. Rufus's cage is actually above the minimum size, so a quarter of his cage is taken up with sand, and as you can see I've added a few things into his sand area. He's got his water bottle. The wheel that he currently has in his cage is the 8.5 inch comfort wheel. then we've got I've got a little hide there. It's like a wicker hide, and also a wooden hide as well. Both of these are just open at the bottom so that he can access the sand. He hasn't, you know, it doesn't limit the amount of sand that he can use. And what I tend to find actually is he loves eating in here, so I have to sieve the sand very frequently because I find lots of little seeds and you know, seed shells in here. And he's got a little wooden log run through. I've separated the sand area from the bedding area with this wooden little divider, which is handmade, and I painted it with some plastic coat just so that it's not so vulnerable to any pee, any water, anything like that, particularly because hamsters do tend to pee in their sand bath. It means I can just wipe it clean, keep it nice and clean for as long as possible. He's got a little wooden hide. Again, that doesn't have a base so that he can burrow down underneath it. I've got a ceramic plant pot hide, a couple of chew toys here. Then he's got some grassy sprays, and then he's got a little grassy run through which has got entrances and exits at each side as well as on the ends. And then another little wooden run through which is exactly the same as the one in his sand bath down there. Then up here he's got a platform, it's a little wooden platform as you can see there, with a wooden bendy bridge leading up to the platform, and on top he's just got his food, his water bowl and a chew toy, and also this little ceramic hide which very often gets full of bits of food as well. Something that I love to do is have a ceramic hide near their food bowl. When it comes to feeding, I do use a bowl and I scatter feed, and I just like having a hide near the food bowl so that they've got somewhere that they can safely, you know, feel that they can go to eat safely. Rufus has got this little wooden bridge playgroundy type thing. This here is a willow tunnel, and it's half buried under the bedding so that he can make a nice tunnel from it. Then I've got this lovely little grassy nest thing with a really fun little chew toy hanging down from it, and it's also got some little wooden shoes attached to it there. This is a little wooden hide which has got an entrance to the side and also under this bendy bridge, and he's got another wicker hide there. Hamsters are prey animals, so it's great to give them lots of little places where they can hide and feel nice and safe. He's got some more sprays, including some flax sprays there and some flax sprays here. He's got some millet sprays, some more chew toys, and this is his Whimsy chew. This is his current Whimsy chew. I actually think this is the first one I've ever given him, and he's chewed a fair bit of it, but there's lots there still. And in terms of the bedding in the cage, you can see I've got a nice deep level at this side. It does get shallower as we go down the cage. And what I use for him, he's got quite a mix actually. He's got some Fitch paper-based bedding. That's white. He's also got some white Katie Clean and Cozy, some Carefresh Natural, and then he's also got some of the red Katie and the camo Katie as well. So that's just a quick overview of his current enclosure there for you. Thank you so much for watching today's video, meeting a little Rufus. He's so cute. I will do videos very soon meeting my two male Syrian hamsters, Cricket and Donut. And I'll also be bringing some hamster care videos as well. So make sure you subscribe to my channel, leave me a like and a comment, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!